Hello, friends. Today we're going to talk about this opinion article on CNN. Um, I saw actually a link on the CNN homepage. It said something like Herman Cain is the last straw, or the appointment of Herman Cain is the last straw. And I thought that was kind of a strange link. So I clicked on it's not there anymore. The CNN homepage changes pretty frequently. So I clicked on it, and it brought me to this article, which has not changed. Well, it says it's been updated. It doesn't identify what the updates are, which always bugs me. But from appointing Herman Cain being the last straw to Donald Trump is sabotaging America's democracy, it's kind of a big leap in my mind. But okay. Now it's nice here. The article author was a former press secretary for Bill Clinton, so obviously he's going to have a liberal bias. But that's fine, because this is CNN, so it fits in just fine. And it starts off pretty typical for a lot of these articles, basically saying, look, Republicans have always argued for smaller, more efficient, better government, and that's fine. That's a good counterbalance to the liberal thing. But Trump has gone beyond the pale and turned a noble, honorable viewpoint into something dark and evil, hell-bent on making it less transparent, less responsive, and less effective. At the time, they said George Bush was Hitler, and now George Bush wasn't so bad. George Bush was a million times. We would totally accept George Bush instead of this evil Trump guy. It's nonsense. But then, the rest of this article is just your typical grievance list of everything else I don't like about Trump. He's not supporting the ACA. He made fun of Sessions, Mattis, and Tillerson, all these people he's been getting rid of. Kushner, Vladimir Putin. It's like, well, where the hell's this? Why'd they link about Herman Cain if he's not in here? Barr, Nielsen. It's like, what? Why? And that's why Cain wasn't the main focus of his article. But when you see the name Herman Cain, everyone kind of jokes about him, and he's kind of a buffoonish character, I guess. They made fun of him a lot in the when he was running the primaries. So it's almost the CNN version of clickbait. If it said Barr was the last straw or Sessions was the last straw for Trump, no one would click on this. But when it says Cain, like they wanted, I guess, I got sucked in, clicked on it. So all the way down here, we start with the actual part about the Federal Reserve Board, which is what Cain's apparently being nominated for, and Trump appointing him. So, in an important way, Trump's appointments to the Federal Reserve are the most shocking and disturbing. The Federal Reserve may be the last bastion of our government not infected with partisan politics. Look, this is bullshit right here. Just because people pretend or say it's nonpartisan, anything that says nonpartisan is still partisan. For example, the Supreme Court. I know Justice Roberts likes to pretend and say, and lots of people say, oh, the court is above politics, or it needs to be above politics and just about the Constitution. Bullshit. Those people are appointed by politicians, and justices have political views on the law, whether from the left or from the right. And no matter how much people pretend, those people are put on there for political reasons. When a state says, we're going to put a nonpartisan commission together to select judges or to draw voting districts, there's a lot of power involved in what decisions are made by that group. So yes, politicians are involved. The people appointed have certain viewpoints from the left or from the right, and that those nonpartisan committees will be partisan. It is run by accomplished economic thinkers whose decisions are critical. I don't know about this part, accomplished, but their decisions are critical for determining our nation's future economic performance, and our performance does greatly impact the economies of the rest of the world. And that part is true. Trump, eschewing expertise, has decided to nominate Stephen Moore, an advisor from his campaign, which I don't care about him so much because I care about this part on the link. Herman Cain, a former presidential candidate. There's lots of ways you could identify Herman Cain. Former presidential candidate. Of all the titles he could have, this is showing that he's a political appointee. That's I don't want to say it's disingenuous, but it's showing how the author here is prepping the battlefield and trying to skew your thought process. First Moore, who I don't care about, and we won't read too much, but it does, interestingly, in the second sentence right up top, he does have a degree in economics. So Trump isn't necessarily eschewing expertise. The guy at least has some in the very second sentence. I might want to say first sentence because this isn't much of a sentence. Has some kind of expertise in the field. But more importantly, I want to talk about Herman Cain. And Cain. He was successful in the pizza business before running for president. Apparently that's all he did. We'll talk a little bit more later, but let's go through this. His campaign was derailed by a tax plan called 999 that no one understood, and multiple allegations of sexual harassment. Since his presidential run, his projects have included promoting penny stocks to unsophisticated investors. He denies all wrongdoing. I wonder if this was the addition, like it wasn't there before, and then some legal people told him that, saying that these quick rich schemes are classic ripoffs run by scam artists. Maybe someone said, maybe calling someone a scam artist isn't a good idea. Anyway, not Federal Reserve governors. The most charitable explanation, blah, blah, blah. The rest doesn't talk about Herman Cain. So the homepage linking Herman Cain, and all we talk about Herman Cain, specifically Cain is here, but in general, this part's about the Federal Reserve of this article. Huge article. Anyway, let's see how realistic this is. Successful in the pizza business before running for president. Did he do anything else? CEO of Godfather's Pizza from 86 to 96. So a decade running Godfather's Pizza. What did he do after 96? In 96, senior economic advisor to Bob Dole. Yeah. Became CEO of National Restaurant Association, in which he served as president and CEO from 96 to 99. So not just slinging pizzas, but running the National Restaurant Association, a fairly major economic player in the U.S. in the private sector. So he has some private sector experience. Does he have anything in the federal system? Does he have any experience with the Federal Reserve? Oh, wait. Was chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City, Omaha branch from 89 to 91. And then was deputy chairman from 92 to 94. And then chairman until 96 of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. So he's got some significant experience on the federal side, specifically within the Federal Reserve, and significant experience on the private sector as well. Does that accomplished economic thinkers, not only economic thinkers, but he's shown expertise and success, not just a thinker, but he's actually been practical on the private sector as well. I notice that's not mentioned here. And in fact, a lot of news articles skip all that entirely, just saying he's some dude on the street corner slinging pizza, and Trump's nominating him for a Federal Reserve post. Interesting. Derailed by a tax plan called 999 that no one understood. Now, I was alive during this time period, and when I read this initially, I almost laughed out loud because the whole point of this was that it was supposed to be simple. Now, to be fair, to be honest, I don't remember exactly what each of the nines represented, but I knew 2 out of 3 for sure. One of them was 9% federal sales tax. One of them was a 9% federal income tax, and I didn't know what the third 9 was. So maybe technically I don't understand it because I don't know everything out of it, but I was pretty close. Wikipedia does have a nice link here. Tax proposal, centerpiece of Herman Cain's campaign. Yep. The 999 plan would replace all current taxes. I'm assuming that means all current federal taxes, including the payroll tax, capital gains tax, and estate tax, with a 9% personal income tax, 9% federal sales tax, and a 9% corporate tax. So complex and hard to understand that it's pretty simply explained in one sentence that even maybe a middle schooler could understand. And this guy is writing an article that's being published in CNN saying that it's so complex that no one understood it. This is why no one believes the news anymore. And I know this is an opinion piece, but it's on CNN, a news site. And they probably have lots of opinion articles they could publish, and they choose one like this. When it has something blatantly false or maybe more this part's blatantly false. No one understood. Plenty of people understood it. That was the whole point. It was quite simple. But more importantly, this other part, which you don't see, is what CNN and actual journalists and these opinion piece hacks do. They don't lie necessarily. He was successful in the pizza business, but they leave out all the other stuff that he did that's relevant to this discussion. They don't discuss the fact that he's been in the Federal Reserve System for several years. They just leave it out and make it sound like he has no experience. And they throw these allegations out and hope, and know, probably, that a lot of people aren't going to bother looking up his actual history. It's not mentioned here. They're going to assume this is all that there is to Herman Cain. He's a pizza dude who ran for president and has been alleged sexual harassment. And they're going to think Trump's an idiot and beyond the pale. That's why no one believes the news anymore, because they do this crap all the time. There's only one of two, there's many explanations. There's two primary explanations. One, the author of this article is lazy. All he's heard about Herman Cain is he slung pizzas and ran for president. And other than that, he just has a history of nothing. He's just a loser, doesn't know anything. And haha, Herman Cain, what a fool. Which is pretty much what they said when he was running in the primaries. Or he knows Herman Cain has experience in the Federal Reserve System, did more than slung pizzas, but deliberately left it out because this is a propaganda piece, and he doesn't care about the truth, neither does CNN, but cares about steering public opinion away from the Republican Party, and specifically trying to hurt Donald Trump. There may be some other explanations. Those are the two primary ones. I don't know which one's correct. It doesn't really matter. Malicious or lazy and ignorant, either one's bad, and neither one reflects well in the news media. And again, that's why when people say fake news and the news media says, no, we're telling the truth, people believe the fake news part and don't believe the media because of constant crap and misleading information like this. All right, quick, dirty, but fun. I'm hoping I've said it many times. Don't know if it's true or not, but I'm hoping maybe if I just start doing some smaller ones like this, little bits, just kind of picking out all the crap in the media, little hit jobs like this, maybe I'll be able to get more time and put more content out. Again, I'm not doing it for money, not trying to become a big YouTuber, just doing it for my own mental health and sanity. Instead of just ranting at the screen myself, I'll rant into this microphone so everyone else can hear too, and we can all suffer together. Thanks.